Good morning, team. How are we today? Looks like another beautiful day, or maybe a beautiful day. We haven't had too many of them recently with the rain, but it's been on and off for the time of year it's in. I suppose the purpose of me setting this video is over the last couple of days dealing with clients and talking to people in general, and a lot of people seem to be very focused on the challenges of the world and all the things that are going on, and should I be moving forward with my business in the environment that we're in? What's Trump going to do in the future? How's these wars going to affect what's going on and the decisions I make in my business? And I suppose the message that I have is very simple, is that for as long as I've been alive, and for a hell of a lot longer than that too, there's been wars and rumors of wars and turmoil in the world. There's been peaks and flows in economic activity and peaks and flows in recessions and booms. And through all of that, people have got out there and started to innovate, started to make things happen for themselves. Jeff Bezos springs to mind. He started his business in 2007, and literally within 1 year the whole world fell apart. The credit crunch, the subprime market, the wave of challenge came across the Atlantic and right over the world, and the credit crunch, which crippled and destroyed so many businesses, came from that. But that didn't stop him. I think most people know that Amazon have done okay from it. I think the challenge at the end of the day is your focus. The challenge at the end of the day is to make sure that you're on the path that you want to be. Make sure that you're on a path that is delivering a service that people want and people need. I suppose almost more important than want. But wanting it is quite important too, because when you go out to work and support people, it's very important that they participate, because without their participation, everything you do is just words. So I suppose the message I wanted to get across today, and the reason I've started this vlog while I'm on my way to meet a client, was it's okay to be focused on, or to be mindful of, the challenges that go on in the world. It's okay to understand that there are difficulties and challenges. But it's not okay to allow it to cripple you. It's not okay to allow it to take over your world, because if you're providing a service and you're doing that service the best way you can, if you've developed a brand or you're developing a brand and that brand speaks to you, it speaks about you. A brand is not only about, as I'm sure most people know, it's not only about badges and labels and what websites look like and the color that you chose for your logo. A brand is who you are. Do you do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it? Most people don't. I know that sounds like a crazy thing, but most people will resonate with that. Most people understand that most people do not do what they say they're going to do. They don't actually probably intend to do it. Not out of malice or any intention not to do it. They don't do it because just that's how it is, and people have not been worried about that. There's always a bit of Asher, that'll do mentality. Asher, don't worry about it, next time it'll be fine. If you're building a brand and you're building a business, and it's circulates around who you are, and it will do, at least initially, because until you've built a business that's big enough that the brand and the culture of the business reflects you and your values, it'll be about who you are. So don't worry about what's going on in the world. Concern yourself with putting together the best of you, the best system that you can put together, the best service that you can give. Be persistent. Be doggedly persistent, because 95% of all success is about persistence. Now, you've got to make sure you're providing a service that people need and that people want. But most of the time you'll find you are. People are busy, especially people who are growing businesses. They're going through the growing pains of growing a business that paracetamol won't help. What they need is systems, structures, discipline, and good habits. Good, solid habits, repeat habits that get you where you want to go. Not so long ago, I decided I was going to go on a journey of trying to get healthier. I was a guy for 40 odd years of my life. I'd never exercised. I didn't even know really how to do it. I didn't know really, despite the fact that I should have done for my age and my experience in life, I didn't know what was the right food to eat. And to be honest, that was confused by the fact that most of the quote-unquote experts, they didn't know either, even though they were telling everybody what they should and shouldn't eat. And as we all know, over the last 10, 15 years, that has substantively changed when an understanding of how the human biology works, the whole thing has been turned on its head. So I didn't know how to eat, what to eat. Well, I knew how to eat. That was something I was good at. What to eat, what the right thing to eat was, what to drink, how to exercise, what the right kind of exercise, and how to optimally work it for my body. So I started to understand that I needed to do something. I mean, I was 4 or 5 stone, which is what, 2.2 pounds to the kilo. I was 4 stone heavier than I am today, and 4 stone heavier than I should be for a healthy weight. And I went out of my way to learn, to understand exactly what I should be doing. And the point of making this video, or even the point of telling you about this, is that I started to develop habits, daily habits, weekly habits. One habit I started with planning. I was planning my food. Now, I know that sounds, oh my God, I can't believe that. I mean, how do I get a life? But I started planning my food. Because if you don't plan it and you're out and about like I am a lot of the time, you find yourself in petrol stations picking up garbage to eat. I started planning and programming and scheduling in my exercise program. And to start with, it was hard work. Because, you know, if you've never done something before, and certainly not for 40 odd years, doing it is hard work. And more importantly, remembering to do it is even harder, because the muscle memory of getting up and doing it isn't there. And then comes the other thing, that horrible word that people use many times when I was growing up, and I never got my head round and never understood it, the word of discipline. You've actually got to do it if it's going to make any difference. So, muscle memory, planning your exercise, doing your, geez, that sounds like work. Goodness me, people don't even do that stuff in work, when of course they're supposed to or need to. So I got into habits. The habit of exercising, not every day because it was too much every day, every other day. Then an exercise program. What do I do during the exercise program? It took me months, well, best part of a year if I'm being honest, to actually get into a routine, get into a understanding of the different muscle groups and what I should exercise, how I should exercise. And I'm still far from being what I should be. But I got into habits. All businesses, all successful people are habitual people. They do things regularly, even though they don't see the results sometimes. They get into the muscle memory of doing it regularly. They get into the habit of doing it, even though they don't see the results. And in football, you hear all the time, you hear the football manager saying, trust the system. Don't worry about it. Trust the system. It'll come good. And they're right. It does come good. I lost 4 stone. I'm healthier at the age of 60 than I've ever been, I think, in my life, if I'm being honest, apart from maybe as a kid. And to be honest, maybe even then I wasn't as healthy as I should or could have been. So getting back to the purpose of the video. The video's purpose is to explain, or to talk about, or chat about the world that we live in, the world that we are in today, is full of turmoil. But let's be honest, the world has always been full of turmoil for thousands of years, and it's no different today. It just feels like it's a bit different, but it's not. It's exactly the same. And you can rise or you can fall depending on your perception of what you think that world should be. And my answer to that is really simple. You don't ignore the world, you don't ignore the news, you can't, you have to be understanding of it. But just understand it. Get on with what you have to do. Make your plan. Drive your plan. Review and update your plan and make sure it's on target where you want it to go. And then put your head down. Get into the habit of doing it regularly. Reviewing it regularly. That's part of the habit. And you will have the success that you need. You will have the success that you desire. No question about it. Persistent people are the most successful. And I'll leave you with one thing. I worked for a property developer in Ireland who was well known for many years. And I remember that I was not long back in Ireland in 1998, 1999. And I remember the anxiety about the bubble crashing, the Celtic Tiger, the challenges that were going on, the difficulties with mortgages, all of the stuff that's going on in the moment right now in Ireland was happening then. Labour was hard to get, good labour was hard to get, good staff was hard to get, people were moving around for small increases in salaries, planning permissions were difficult, there was all kinds of challenges. Now there were things going on then that aren't going on now, which are different in terms of the property market, but a lot of the stuff that's happening today was going on then. And I remember one day him saying to me, he says, Joe, he says, I don't know why you're so worried about this. I said, I come back from the UK where I was doing okay, and I've started a job here, and I'm hearing all this in the news that the world is going to end and that the bubble is going to burst and we're all going to be poor and the world is going to be terrible. He said, Joe, you're thinking too much about this. He says, you know that in the last 15 years, economists have successfully planned, successfully predicted 15 out of the last 2 recessions, which I thought was hilarious, and he was right. The world does go in peaks and troughs economically. The world is full of challenge, wars break out, bad things happen in the world. They affect the economy, they affect inflation, they affect a lot of things. But you know, getting back to you and your business, people in this world need a good service. Need it, they crave it, they cry out for it because it's not happening. If you want to be successful, double down on providing a good service. Do what you say you're going to do. Be consistent, be regular, and deliver. And your brand will be a brand that will be unique. Trust me, that's how it's going to be. Thank you for listening, if you are listening, and we'll chat again.